Good morning. Welcome to the PWI's Manchester Seminar, organised by our Northwest section, which I am very, very grateful for, speaking from the PWI Centre. Without the efforts our sections put in, we would be a distinctly smaller and less credible organisation. Innovation. Well, we're in an industry that's been continuously innovating for about 200 years now, I think. Not always noticed, but this is an opportunity to showcase innovation. I was going to do the phone bit later, but just do the phone bit now. So phones to silent or off, please. So yes, this is an opportunity to showcase innovation in our industry sector, a sector that is becoming ever more important. If you look at the government's decarbonisation agenda, zero emissions by 2050, rail has to be a major part of that plan, because electrified rail-based transport is an easy win for decarbonisation. So rail is where it's at for the next 30 plus years. And I think that message is slowly coming home to people, to policymakers in the wider sphere. But I think if you look at the policy environment we're working in now, if you look at where government is going, where the world is going, rail is great place to be. Very different from rail in 1974 when I joined the industry, where we were sort of on the skids and disappearing fast. So a great place to be a young engineer in. So thank you to Manchester and Liverpool section for organising this. As I said, very appreciative of the effort, and there is a huge amount of effort that David and Richard and the team put in. Thank you also to our major sponsors, Romberg, Cirsa, Arcadis, SB Rail and Statite, to our sponsors, Tony G and Chambray, and to our exhibitors, Fugro and Seven Partnership. Without the sponsorship that we have for these events, again, it would be very difficult to put on the sort of shows that we do. Domestics. Let me just, there we go. Phones on silent, as we've talked about. There is some guest Wi-Fi around. I haven't found it yet, but I'm told there is. There are no fire alarm tests today. So if there is a fire alarm, it's for real, and follow the green signs out to the front of the building. There are first aiders in the reception area. The duty manager and the senior receptionist are both first aiders, and there are first aid kits up there and somewhere around down here. There is no defibrillator in this building, but they have a list of handy defibrillators out to reception. So if there's a need, we need to beat a rapid path to reception. I did wonder about the diagram on the right-hand side of the screen, because I thought to start with it was no acrobatic cheerleading today, please. But I'm told the muster points at the front of the building, and the loos just outside here. I will be chairing the morning session, and Tony Cairns. Tony? Around? Yep, there he is, up at the back. We'll be chairing this afternoon session. Thank you for sharing the pain. We have 12 papers, everything from the strategic, practical implementation. We've got contributions from academic research, academic work as well, which I'm always happy to hear. In the afternoon, we'll be presenting the PWI Young Achievers Award, recognising success, which is always a great thing to do, and that's sponsored by WSP, and thank WSP very much for that. Joan, who was supposed to be doing this slot, I don't know whether you know Joan, Joan is isolated, courtesy of her her employer, who's decided that because she's been in India, she needs to spend a fortnight at home, just in case. She contacted one of the 10 cases in India of coronavirus. But that's an issue that is going to come and bite us all, I think, eventually. It's not really taken off in this country yet, but I think it is only a matter of time. And certainly we're looking at contingency arrangements within the PWI, and I suspect most large, being serious for a moment, most large organisations are currently thinking, well, what if? And rightly so. So I don't want to turn it into too much of a joke, because it's actually quite serious. So anyway, Joan can't be here. She was really miserable at not being able to stand up here instead of me. It's quite ironic, really, because last year I was in India and couldn't be here, so Joan deputised for me. This year, Joan's been in India, can't be here, so I'm deputising for her, so I feel we're sort of balanced up. Joan, for those of you who, I'm sure most of you probably know, Joan has been leading an exercise for the institution looking at the relationship between the institution and its corporate members, and doing a huge amount of work. Personally, she has put in hours and hours and hours to this. And I know that she wanted to mention a couple of consistent threads that we've had in the feedback from corporate members. The first being a real strong endorsement of the PWI's role in making sure that its members actually understand the basics of railway infrastructure engineering, sound understanding of theory and practical application. And I think the PWI grasps that responsibility with both hands. And then related to that, the PWI's role of providing a platform for people to share knowledge and showcase current and emerging technologies. And this is a prime example of making that sort of platform available. So, just a quick disclaimer on content. We didn't put it in the programme, but I'm sure everybody knows, but I'll say it anyway, that what you see on the screen are the views, opinions, facts of our presenters. They do not represent the PWI's corporate position. I'm also assured that we do actually have the right, or they have the right, to use all the material that's within their presentations. We just got a little bit stung a few months ago from an earlier conference where copyright rules were not strictly followed, and unfortunately that means that we as the PWI are in the line for liability. Thank you for listening to that. It's now my pleasure